to get ready to finish up the bottom end. We're going to start by getting the oil pump in, and hopefully we get all the way through to getting the oil pan on. Okay, here is the original oil pump, rebuilt, all reassembled. Apparently these are very, very difficult to find, screen, all that good stuff, so I'm very thankful to still have that. Now, I'm going to butter up the gear on the end here and then put it in its hole, and as the book says, they say drive it home. All right, here we go. Interesting. Well, we can hit it harder. Let's see if it keeps going. Now it's moving ever so slowly. Let's see if the bolt doesn't help it go down. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on this one because there's only one bolt holding this thing in place. Okay, let's see if this bolt can draw it down the rest of the way. No, it's drawing the front side. Now I need to use the hammer to get the back side down. Even it out. There we go. It's getting there, slowly. All right, and that is done. Woo! Now, once again, we'll make sure everything rotates. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go a different route. Realize that one thing about a flathead is that the oil pan makes up the other half of the bell housing to mount the transmission to. So before you can put the oil pan on, you have to put the flywheel on, you have to put the clutch on, because that's the only way you're going to have access to the mounting bolts and be able to get it in. So I have everything that I need to do that except the clutch bolts that secure it to the flywheel. So I've ordered those. They are on order. So what I'm going to do is, because I've set up this RTV on here, I'm going to use the oil pan to secure everything down, and especially hold this cork seal right here in place because it's bending around the journal and I don't want to flop off. I want that RTV to set. So I'm going to put the oil pan on, secure it down. Obviously I haven't put RTV on this side yet because I'm not ready to do that. And then we will go after that missing piece to the oil valley. Okay, oil pan in place. Now let's get all of the hardware. Okay, now that that's done, I'm gonna take this opportunity to rotate the crankshaft again and verify that there's no interferences with the oil pan anywhere. Yep, rotate smooth. All right, you know that tube that was missing from down in there? Well, I took the hood off. Actually, it was just laying on it, and set it up against the car. That's probably where it needs to be anyway now, because I need to start taking it apart after this is done. Anyway, you'll see that the old engine block is in there, and it had one of these tubes, and I was able to get it out by shoving this screwdriver in there, heating up the bottom, just kind of wiggling and wrenching with a flathead screwdriver. So I'll get that blasted. Well, maybe I'll put in some Berrymans and see if it comes clean. And then we'll install it in here. And this one will be complete. No more missing parts. Hopefully. Famous last words. I will probably, next step, find parts that I'm missing. Oh well. Yay! I consider that a success because I was worried about how I was going to get that out. But hey, I can use my brain sometimes. Yay! All right, it's been overnight. The RTV is set up, oil pan back off. We're gonna get the flywheel on, if nothing else, and then move on until those clutch shoulder bolts are in. So, like I said, when I had this sent off, I sent off all the rotating machinery that is connected to the crank. Anything that rotates around in the engine, I sent it off for balancing. And that is going to make the engine much more efficient, run much more smooth, and increase the longevity of the engine itself. Not that this is going to be a high mileage vehicle. But when they do that, they put all of these marks on here so that you can rematch up all of the rotating machinery, reattach it all. So we match these lines to the parts going on. Notice the orange stripe there on the flywheel gets mated up to the orange stripe on the crankshaft. Somehow it goes in there. It's just too high at the moment. Here's a little something I just learned. So, to be able to get this flywheel in without it jamming up on the bell housing, the dowel pins that you're lining it up to cannot be perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical. They need to be about at 45, going about 45 degrees across. That way the flywheel has room to get over those dowel pins before it starts to bind up on the bell housing. But it's in there. Okay, when I got this engine, it came with this washer, spacer, whatever you want to call it, came with it. So I'm going to put it back on. Then we get our bolts in there. The unfortunate thing about this spacer is I remember this is where it came from, but the books don't talk about it. So, I don't know. Came with it. I'm going to put it back on. Then we're going to torque these down to 65 foot-pounds. If you find that the torque is turning your axle, just take a good old screwdriver or something that'll fit in one of these balance holes. Shove it in there and it will stop rotating. I went ahead and used a rubber handled pick. All right, now we'll get in there and we'll lock wire that.